Madam Premier, I'd like to today address you in regards to your housing strategy, which is available on your website. Specifically, I'd like to discuss the legislation changes that are proposed in that document. I have a couple of questions, I guess. Question one, when? When are these changes going to happen? Because every other state in our fine country has made these changes. So why is Queensland getting left behind? When? When will it happen? Question number two is, have you personally read the document that was tabled in your Parliament by the Department of Justice, written by QUT Law, which outlines the unfairness of the current system and the inability of lot owners to act in regards to contract breaches, in regards to unfair terms written by developers? Did you read it? Because there are approximately 431,368 lot owners in Queensland. That's how many ordinary Queenslanders are currently adversely affected by the legislation. And I wondered if you'd given that any thought. Because I want to ask you, what about us? What about the lot owners? To give you a practical example, there are 16 lots in my complex. And if we were not trapped by the current legislation, we could have made moves prior to this that would have, based on the contract, saved us, all 16 of us, in 2018, $1,900 approximately. What about us? Your document, which is the housing strategy, talks about a lot of things, but it really dedicates only 24 sentences to the change of this legislation in 20 pages of document. So, are you making this a priority? There are a lot of worthy mountains you are trying to climb in this document: homelessness and Indigenous pathways to home ownership, very honourable causes and ones that I think need to be addressed. Those are really big mountains though. So when making a to-do list, don't you make your first priorities the things that are easy to achieve, that you can get done and quickly out of the way, and then you can tackle the big stuff? It feels like that legislation should be easier to tackle than homelessness. And again, what about us? There's 431,368 of us approximately. What about us? That's a lot of people who you claim to put first in this strategy. You talk a lot about how your strategy is people-based and people first. So it seems to me that this legislation reform that would be easier to tackle than some of the other issues you address could affect approximately 431,368 people. That's a lot of people. You know, there are so many things about this that upset me. But finally, I'd like to remind you, Madam Premier, of Section 8, or Article 8, of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And it states that all are equal before the law and are entitled, without any discrimination, to equal protection of the law. In our country, currently, today, right now, Queenslanders who own lots in body corporate schemes are not being afforded this right. Please, Madam Premier, if my wish comes true and my video goes viral, Please make this a priority because it's affecting mums and dads, the cost of their living, which is increasingly going up. And it can be changed by you easily, I would imagine. Please, Madam Premier, what about us?